Welcome to Make a Difference. It's lunchtime. Nicole here to keep you company as you tuck into your lunch. Today I am joined by Ipswich Hospital's Baby Bereavement Group. It is a packed studio here today. We have Alison, Brett, Kirsten Ullman and Laura Holden here to keep me company as well. Firstly, I should say that the topic today, it may be difficult for some of our listeners and it could trigger some difficult emotions. So, however, I do hope that you do stick with us because although it is a touching subject, amongst the discussion today, we have some incredible topics of hope, resilience and fantastic support from a much-loved community of families. If you have been affected by baby loss and the topics that we're going to discuss today in the show, then please do seek some support. We will signpost you to support throughout the show today. And I must say that all of the fantastic songs that we have chosen today, they've been chosen by parents that have experienced loss and who are fabulous supporters of the team. So just like that Gary Barlow song that we played, Let Me Go, which, of course was very touching. But thank you to all of the families that have chosen the songs. And I am so sorry if I don't fit your song in today because we have got so much to talk about and squeeze into the show, but they're all been fantastic choices. But we will be back shortly with lots of great discussion with the team. But please do just look to the skies with us first of all with Eva. You are listening to Make a Difference Hour, where we welcome guests from across ESNEFT and hear about the fantastic work they are doing. And today I am very lucky to be joined by Ipswich Hospital's Baby Bereavement Group members. So we have Alison, Brett, Kirsten Ullman and Laura Holden here. Thank you for joining me in the studio, guys. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
No, you're very welcome. So today we want to hear about all the fantastic work, very important work that you guys are doing. But first of all, can you just give us a brief introduction to yourselves and how you became to be part of the group?
Well, I'll go first. I'm Ali Brett. I'm the bereavement midwife here in Ipswich Hospital. And I've been a midwife for nearly 30 years. I was working in labour ward and here in Ipswich since 2007 and became very interested in all of the families that I was caring for who were suffering loss and bereavement. Now, I attended a study day, and after attending that study day, a bereavement study day, I then joined the pre-existing baby bereavement group, which had been around for many, many years before us. And this was run by some lovely, amazing midwives and healthcare support workers, our dear Cherry. And they would care for the families in the hospital and then have a monthly support group meeting in the hospital grounds, and that had been going on for many years, and they'd supported and helped lots of families. They were excellent role models. And so my first evening of attending the baby bereavement support group in 2014 was also Laura's first evening, and Laura and I then clicked straight away, and the rest is history. And I'll let Laura continue.
Yeah, so I, as Ali mentioned, got involved with the baby bereavement group following my own loss in July 2014. Sadly, my husband and I lost our first son, and you're thrown into a world where you don't know which way to look, and you just want to reach out for help. And thankfully, having had the amazing care from the maternity and staff within the hospital, there was also the baby bereavement group. Like Ali said, it's been going for many years before that, and was a real lifeline to myself and my husband, and has continued to be for the last 10 and a bit years now. Obviously that support has changed over the years, and become more involved as a volunteer to help support others, which in turn obviously still actually supports ourselves as well. So it's been an incredible 10 years of development, and seeing how the support has grown and developed, and yeah, lots more to come.
Yeah.
And through that, you then connected with Kirsten, who hadn't quite wanted to attend a support group, which is fine, because what I find as a bereavement midwife is people need to know that there's something there. They took it up their sleeve, and if it's there, that's a comfort. They don't necessarily need to attend. Yeah. But Kirsten was there, and she knew all about it, and she was amazing and did a a charity run, which Laura then sponsored, and the two of them became online friends, even though they worked really closely in a close proximity. They were supporting each other together, and Kirsten raised enough money to be able to soundproof our bereavement room in labour ward, so we are forever grateful for that.
So Kirsten, you'd known about the group, but you then wanted to fundraise for them. What was it made you want to do that?
I think so I'd become involved. We suffered we had 3 losses in 2012 and 2013, and I felt the need to do something, and that's how I ended up ridiculously signing up for the Ipswich half marathon. And one day got a little message from Laura over Facebook saying you might have a random sponsorship. That's me. And we just started chatting, and Laura, as she said, had started coming along to the group, and I just kind of wanted to do a bit more. So that was how I got involved.
That's fantastic. So, Alison, can you give us a bit of more of an idea of the scope and what the support looks like through the group?
So the group meets on the last Tuesday of every month. Since COVID, we've been meeting on Teams. That's not for everyone. So since COVID has lifted, we've found various venues to meet, and probably 50-50, isn't it, that we meet. We're very grateful to our local community who have offered us free rooms for the evening, where we have just a get together, a cup of tea and a chat, or maybe a craft. We tend to have we all tend to like a bit of craft. We've done macrame and painting and wreath making, and the face-to-face groups are really special because you're there and the conversations just flow. And it's not intense. It's not anything where it would put you on the spot. We're not intending to make you cry. You don't have to share your story, although it is a safe place to share and say your baby's name, and know that you're surrounded by people who understand and care. But that's not the intention. The intention is to come together, widen your support network, and make new friends.
Because I understand, is it a bit where people don't feel safe to say their baby's names around others, or they don't feel comfortable, but that is a space where they can feel open because other people understand exactly what that you're going through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, coming together, like Ali said, face to face with a network of people who feel comfortable in the same environment is something really quite special, because in those early days of the grief and your loss, friends and family do rally and they want to talk to you and try and help you, but naturally that does fall away a little bit. So to be able to connect with other people on a long-term basis, some of these friendships that you create through people that you meet, whether that's other mum to mum, parent to parent, it really can be quite a lifelong support network that can be vital, because we know that grief doesn't go away. It becomes part of us and it stays with us. So to have, it might be once in a blue moon, it might be every day, but to have that network of people to reach out to when you're not having a great day is invaluable.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, I know that we are only scratching the surface of what you guys do for families out there. I can't wait to talk to you about it a bit more, but first we're going to have a bit of Baby Mine from Dumbo. It's been fantastic having you guys in the studio already, but I know there's so much that you do to support families. So you mentioned before, Ali, about the soundproofing of one of the rooms. Why is that so important? What does that mean to families?
So if you need to come to hospital, your baby has died, we need to care for you safely and properly. So you need to be in the right space, and that's usually confined to labour ward. And obviously in labour ward there are other women giving birth, and you can hear the cries of a newborn baby, or you can hear the fetal heartbeat monitor, and that is really distressing for people who are grieving and suffering an acute bereavement. It's part of the National Bereavement Care Pathway as well to make sure that our rooms are furbished well and soundproofed. This is a national standard. And in 2017 we became part of the National Bereavement Care Pathway. We were actually on the first wave of the pilot trial, and so that gave me, as a bereavement midwife, a really great grounding of what our hospital needed to do to give really excellent bereavement care. And that soundproofing of the bereavement room really was excellent straight away.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of the many things that you've done to improve the environment for families. We know, of course, that there's only so much that the NHS can pay for, so that's why fundraising and generous donations are so important to you guys as a group. I know you mentioned before about the refurbishments. With generous donations, you've been able to improve furniture and simple things like that, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, the room that's dedicated for families is known as the Quiet Room. And whilst Ali mentioned, obviously, families need to be cared for at the highest level medically, the situation that they find them in isn't necessarily for them a medical situation. Therefore, to have the more homely feel, to feel comfortable, to try and give some sense of relaxation and as a calm space when there's so much going on that's breaking their hearts and the emotion that's involved. To have that more homely feel is really important. So, take away some of the typical hospital items that you'd see that may not actually be needed and make it feel more homely. It's been a really, really good project for us.
Yeah. You mentioned there about, of course, the heartbroken time that they're going through, and that must be very traumatic to somebody. How does that affect somebody's health going through that?
Well, the body keeps the score, so that when you have a trauma, when you are grieving, everyone and anyone will have trauma in their life. That is life. And the body keeps the score. So we need to make sure that while we are caring for these families, that we do it really well to minimise the impact on their future health. So they store up in every cell in their being will store that stress. So we need to make sure that when they're in our care, our communication is excellent, and that the environment is excellent, and that we are providing compassionate care.
Yeah, you mentioned before that to me that it's a very holistic approach that you take towards that. What does that look like for them?
So we with our fundraising money, we provide a wellness voucher to one of our local colleagues. So Nina Parnham used to be a midwife here in the hospital, and she now runs Suffolk Women's Wellness Centre, and we kindly, in collaboration with her, through the charity and the charitable funds, we pay for people to go and have a massage, a wellness massage. This is not fun day, spa day. This is really metabolising the grief and the stress stored in our body after bereavement. And she's amazing. She offers a whole range of services, right from fertility all the way through to menopause, for women's health. And so we work really closely with her to be able to just provide that holistic care.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So, of course, it's not just the parents that are affected by these situations. What do you do to help, siblings and children?
I think there are packs and books and resources that are given out to families that have children at home already. But one of the things we were able to fundraise for was a sibling day. We had the support of sibling support. They are a group in themselves, and me and my therapy, and we were able to have a day out at Africa Alive for families with siblings, and there were some they could just have fun and be together and meet siblings who had been through the same situations, but also we had some sessions with those the people supporting me in my therapy that enabled some conversations and just could open up those lines of communication, and that was born about when we had our losses. We'd already got a daughter, and that's quite an unknown, how to address it, what to say, what not to say, what may work, what might not work. There's, we talk about parents and how to talk to them and how to support them, but I found there was sort of a lack of support for siblings, so that's been a huge drive for me personally as well.
I can imagine that when you're dealing with grief yourself and having that pressure to act a specific way around your child, you just don't know, but having other people that have been in that similar situation must be really helpful to just be able to vocalise some of that emotion as well. What is the sort of feedback that you get from other families from these sorts of days?
We've only done one so far. And we'd definitely like to do another. I feel like it's all been quite positive. I know certainly my daughter certainly met someone there, and they are actually at the same school, so they do continue conversations. They can talk about, if something's particularly difficult or if it might be difficult at home on particular days. So that's good. I can only hope that that's extended further.
So of course you can only do these things through funding, can't you?
Absolutely.
So the more funding that you get, the better, really. So there are other smaller perhaps touches that you do, but probably have a profound effect. You provide memory boxes and books. Tell us a bit more about that.
Well, the memory boxes and the books are... We've purchased the books through the fundraising, but the memory boxes come through another charity that we work closely with, which is a national charity called For Lewis, and that's amazing. What we have done and what we did since the day Laura and I met the first time was start to fundraise, and we have commissioned the Tree of Remembrance in Holywells Park.
Yeah, so that was actually introduced in 2016. So 9 years ago. It was an idea that we had, but obviously needed to really look into location being really, really important. It needed to be in a place of calm and tranquility and private enough for families to go and spend a really special time thinking about their babies, remembering their babies. And we were fortunate enough to come up with the location where it is in Holywells Park, and over the last 9 years that tree has had many leaves unfortunately added to the tree. I say unfortunately because that means unfortunately there have been so many losses, but it also means how important it is that tree exists. Sadly that tree is almost now full, and we are at the point of needing to commission a second and third trees. So that's our project that's coming up.
So the tree is metal, and it's made of galvanised metal, and it has brass leaves attached to it, and each leaf represents a baby, engraved with baby's name, date, short loving message. And as Laura said, it's almost full now, so we're looking to commission to continue the project. We've had such great feedback from all of our families. It's such an amazing place for people to just go in their own time and spend time there, especially on important dates. Yeah. And it's really great for the siblings and the other children that then come along to know and understand. But it's in a healthy area. It's in a park. Yeah. It's got a play area for the children to go to.
It can be part of their routine, or going out in the holidays, and it's kind of like you're including that child, aren't you, in day-to-day life. That's lovely. And
it also provides us with an opportunity to again bring families together. We quite often have our garden tidy sessions, so yes. Again,
you always need volunteers for that, don't
absolutely. To come along and to spend time again in that safe environment of talking with other families that are there for the same special reason. can be invaluable.
And we're really grateful for Barnes.
Yes, Barnes Construction. I was definitely going to give them a shout out. They were very generous, and it needed a bit of work doing to it, didn't it?
Yeah, a little bit of TLC was needed just around the tree with regards to the access and things like that. So, yeah, we are super grateful to Barnes for coming forward and offering their services of funding the labour, the materials, you know, the time they spent, and the impact that they've had in changing it back into, yes, very aesthetically lovely, but more importantly, it's safe. Yeah. For people to go and access the tree or trees.
Yeah, no, that's lovely. We've got lots. I know you're probably all out there listening and thinking, well, what can I do? How can I support? There are certainly lots of ways that you can get involved, and we will share that with you after a bit of Rihanna and Diamond. Welcome back. You are listening to Hospital Radio Ipswich, and I am still joined by Ali, Kirsten and Laura from the Ipswich Hospital's Baby Bereavement Group. We have been talking about all of the fantastic work that they have been doing, but it doesn't stop. Is, you know, constantly throughout the year you've got lots of things going on. So tell us a bit more, Laura, I think we're going to go to you, about what you guys get up to throughout the year.
Yeah, so we've kind of developed over the years in terms of kind of almost a calendar of events that we do quite every year. So we do things like our annual picnic in the summer, where we invite families along to come to Holywells Park. We install leaves onto the tree. That's twice a year, so in the April and October. So that's
so they can be purchased at any time, but then you have that at the picnic.
So we invite families along to come in April and October for that. We also have our annual charity ball, which we will be talking about fairly soon. Yeah. And we have things that sort of later on in the year we go through to things like around October. We have our Remembering Precious Babies service. Details we share on our social media and things, so families are welcome to come along to that.
Is that always at the same place, or where does that happen?
For the last few years, it used to be here in the hospital, but for the last 4 or 5 years now, it's been over actually at St Michael and All Angels Church in Martlesham. Okay. So again, we'll be sharing details of that fairly soon, so that families can come along. That always falls as part of Baby Loss Awareness Week, which, as well as all the resources that we provide and the support that we provide, raising awareness is also a topic that's really important to us. So we tend to do quite a lot of different events, try to do, whether it's a cake sale or a quiz. We have our annual quiz, which is amazing and really, really well supported.
Who always wins? Is anyone always the winner? Are you guys knowledgeable with general knowledge?
Our OBS and Gynae secretaries were second last year and they won this year. They're brilliant. They're really serious.
It's a fiercely fought competition, isn't it?
Bragging rights across ESNA.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
But yes, we have all sorts of things going on, and we're always trying to look at new ways of introducing different events that will include not just parents but the family as a whole, and the wider family as well. They're just as important for us to support.
Yeah, because they want to show that they care as well, don't they? Of course. Brilliant. You mentioned there the fantastic ball. We've all seen the photos. It looks immense. Tell us more about the ball.
Yeah, so we're actually coming up at the end of April to our 7th annual ball, which is just incredible. Yeah. It started out as an idea back in 2017 as, can we pull this off? And actually we did. So we carried on doing it.
And it's just gone from strength to strength, hasn't it?
It has, and it's been absolutely incredible. The support that we receive is very, very humbling. Whether that's supporting from a distance, i.e. donating a prize, sponsoring the event, or actually attending the event, buying raffle tickets, all of that goes into making the night a fantastic success. And it's something that, as a group, we are very, very proud of, and we want to continue doing that year after year. So I think the really important bit is to continue having that support. We know times are difficult for many people, and to put your hand in your pocket and actually donate your resource to us, whether that's money, in the form of a prize or whatever it is, we are genuinely appreciative, because it all goes directly to the families and supporting them. As little as sort of £8-10 can make a real difference, because that can support us buying a book that's dedicated about bereavement, through to the Hand in the Heart keyring. This is where it's a 2-part keyring. The parents or the family get to keep the outer bit, and the heart shape comes out and is given to the baby and kept in their hands. This is almost indescribable how important it can be to families to have that connection with their baby. So £10 really does make a difference. We can go right through. £40, £45 can make a difference in providing a family with a leaf, a brass leaf to go on the tree of remembrance. Like I said, Ali mentioned earlier about the massage therapies. They're £60 for a treatment, which is an amazing rate. But obviously, we want to be able to continue providing those, and freely providing those. Not having to worry, can we offer it to this family? And making a selection. We want to be able to continue offering it across the board. And the list goes on in terms of study days for staff members. Yeah. The education side and the training is so vital. The caring, the level that we want to keep, at such a high standard, we need to keep providing those study days and things like that.
Of course. You mentioned there, £10, how that can make a difference. Sometimes it's things as little as leaflets and information to families, isn't it? And helping to plan for funerals, because nobody ever wants to or thinks that they're going to have to do that, and knowing what to do and when to do and where to go at those points is really vital, isn't it?
So our dear Cherry, who I mentioned earlier, who was part of the baby bereavement group for many years before, is our baby bereavement officer in this trust, and we have a new colleague that's just joined us in our team, Alex, in training. But Cherry, that is her main role. She supports gives everyone a call who's had a loss under 13 weeks to check in and see if they're okay, and point them in our direction of the support group. But also she's the knowledgeable one of helping and supporting with funeral arrangements and next steps, registry office, etc.
I am, as part of my job in the Colchester and Ipswich Hospitals charity, I did interview a lady who had been through loss, and she did actually name drop her and say how fantastic she was, and how so unbelievably helpful she was at that time, because nobody ever wants to go through that, but it is very rewarding to hear the difference that you guys are making. So it's fantastic. So
and as the bereavement midwife, we are continuously striving to improve the service, and we now have a new service as well that's only been around about a year, and it's the bereavement loss pathway, and that's led by a psychologist. So for people who have ongoing PTSD and trauma, then we've also got another pathway, as well as the petals counselling that they have for baby bereavement support for couples.
Brilliant. So I'm sure you're all sat there thinking that you want to get involved, or if you think, oh yes, I can provide a raffle or an auction prize, then the team will be really happy to hear from you, won't you?
Absolutely.
There is an email address that you can get in contact with them, so it's ipswichbabybereavement@gmail.com. I will give you that again. If you want to run and grab a pen or a pencil, that's fine. Also, if you'd like to get your tickets for the ball, you can drop them an email, they can arrange that. But there is more detail on the charity website, so that's colchester-ipswich-charity.org.uk, and you can find out, and you can see some of the lovely photos from the previous occasions. If you go onto their Facebook page as well, Ipswich Hospital Baby Bereavement Group, you can see all the lovely photos from that occasion. You can see what you've been missing out on all these years, and make sure you get your ticket, don't miss out. I am still joined by the Baby Bereavement Group here in the HRI studio. Now, I mentioned a few ways that you can get in touch with the team before that, but if you didn't catch it, the email address for them is ipswichbabybereavement@gmail.com, and to find out more about the ball, you can head to colchester-ipswich-charity.org.uk. Please make sure you get your tickets, because like I said, it is a fantastic night. But we've been speaking about all the different ways that people can get involved, and you've got something brand new on the horizon, I hear.
We have indeed. We're very, very excited. Over the years, obviously, we have fundraised in different ways. But we've come up with a new one, like you said. We are going to be introducing we're aiming for the 1st of July to launch a 100 Club. Now, let's just pause there, because this was the first time I'd heard about this the other week. But apparently, it's quite a popular thing. Yeah, it's for those that don't know, it's kind of like a mini lottery where you sign up in advance before the 1st of July, and then we have 12 draws throughout the year, so one a month. When you sign up, you are allocated a fixed number. And that is your number throughout the whole year. So you pay up front. We're looking at a monthly cost of £2. So you pay £24 up front, and then we have a draw for first, second and third prize each month, which will obviously be announced and communicated out to the winners and everybody. It's just a lovely way to bring everyone together to do a great way of fundraising. It's always exciting to know. I mean, I've been part of them, whether that's through the school PTA or a local social club. Okay. There's lots of different ways to get involved with one, but I think it just brings everyone together for a common goal of we're doing some good, but also having some fun as well with doing it. Yeah. So over the next sort of 5 or 6 weeks, we will be launching that so that people can sign up in time for the first draw, which we are planning for the 1st of July.
Sounds brilliant. So you can hand over your money, you forget about it, and then you get a nice surprise.
Absolutely. This is the plan.
Off air, you mentioned there's a newsletter as well that goes out.
Yeah, so it's something that we've been trying to get up and running for a little while, but we're getting regular newsletters out, because we appreciate that not everyone is on social media. Not everyone wants to necessarily read it online. So we have put together a newsletter that we get out roughly sort of every 5 to 6 weeks. People can sign up to that. We've got a link on our Facebook page, and hopefully, there's different ways. If you want to drop us an email, we can send you the link to sign up to that, and then it'll just drop in. It'll have a wide range. It will be ways that we support families, events that we've got coming up, lots of different bits of information, different support resources, and it's just a good way for us to get all the information about what we do out to people.
Brilliant. So if anyone might be listening, it might be them, they might be worrying about somebody that perhaps had experienced a loss quite a while ago, but they can contact you at any time for support, is that right?
Absolutely. There's no time on grief, and we're always here. Over the last few years, I've helped old family members. People have got in touch and said, "Oh, my great aunt, lost a baby in the 50s, whatever. Can you help us find the grave?" We've managed to make those admin inquiries and then help and attend and have some closure. And the family probably didn't even realise what that lady had been holding on to for many years, but that's the thing. So it doesn't matter when it happened, baby loss stays with us forever. We're always here.
No, that's great. It's been so fantastic having you guys in the studio. We are fast running out of time, but I'm going to squeeze in a couple of more songs before I say goodbye to you. But here's the Beatles, Here Comes the Sun. You're listening to Hospital Radio Ipswich, and I have been joined this lunchtime by Ipswich Hospital's Baby Bereavement Group, and we have been talking about the amazing work that they are doing to support families. But so Ali, we mentioned, different stages of when your grief happens, but generally, who and at what times do you support them?
We care for people who've had an early pregnancy loss, ectopic, early weeks, early stages, all the way through to early child loss. So miscarriage, termination for medical reasons, mid-trimester miscarriage, stillbirth, neonatal death, child death in the community. It doesn't matter, we're here for you.
Yeah, I think that's important to say, because, you know, you still experience grief at all of those stages, don't you? It doesn't matter how early or anything. That's fantastic that you are there for everybody that is going through that. So key things for you guys to know. The ball is 26th of April, yes, and it's a 1920s theme. Sounds fantastic. Have you got your dresses all lined up?
Not quite.
Working on it.
Fantastic, sounds brilliant. And I know that you have such great support out there, and a lot of our listeners will be aware that the Extreme Abseil for Colchester and Ipswich Hospitals charity is back this year on Saturday the 3rd and Sunday the 4th of May. And each year I know you have fantastic supporters going down that. So if anyone is listening and you're feeling brave and you want to join that Abseil, please do, and fundraise lots and lots of money for this amazing team so they can do even more out within the community. But thank you so much, guys, for joining me today. I hope you've had a nice time and not been too nervous.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Everybody get in touch. Their email address again is ipswichbabybereavement@gmail.com if you want any further information.